One of the founders of Women for Trump had to backtrack really fast after she accidentally appeared to be criticizing Donald Trump on Twitter. See, Amy Kremer posted this: "The cost of living is out of control. If you don't grocery shop, you need to go to the grocery store and see for yourself. The prices are outrageous and continue to climb. I don't know how people are living. Families are struggling and can't afford to eat. Our elderly are hurting and too prideful to say anything." I don't really understand why she threw that in. Something has gotta give. So things are out of control, prices are too high. And in particular, she's saying, if you don't go to the grocery store, you should, which is a weird thing to say because everybody does, right? I mean, who doesn't? Well, billionaires don't. Donald Trump probably hasn't been. He thinks you have to give ID to buy groceries. So it seemed like she was criticizing Donald Trump. I mean, she's objectively criticizing the economy under Donald Trump. Or is she? Because as worried as she is about the economy, she's more worried about continuing to be in the good graces of MAGA. And so when she started getting criticized for criticizing Donald Trump, she backtracked and said, because some are too dense to get it, these are F Joe Biden prices. President Trump has done an amazing job in the 9 months he's been in the White House, but this is all because of the trillions spent under Biden and the sky high inflation. If not for POTUS, it would be even worse. The tariffs are literally only because of Donald Trump, and Amy Kremer knows that. Is some of this due to years of supply chain issues and inflation and everything? Sure. But President Trump has been in charge for like 9 months at this point. If things not only haven't improved, but in fact are getting worse, like, could you just let us know when he's actually responsible? I get that it's not now, okay? Like December, is he responsible for next March, after the midterms? A day before the end of his term, is he ever gonna be responsible for what happens? Because you wanna give him credit for stuff, just not for the bad stuff, which seems strange to me. He has been president for 253 days. That is a mighty long honeymoon that they're giving him on this. In any event, I also just will throw out pointlessly, you know how they say the inflation is all because like during the pandemic, they just threw out a bunch of money in stimulus and everything, which to some extent is true. I hate that everybody pretends that the first 2 rounds of that weren't Trump. Why does everybody pretend that the stimulus was all Joe Biden? He continued it, but the first 2 rounds of it were under Trump. So again, pointless. America has decided that that's just not true. It's politically inconvenient. Sharon, what do you make of this?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not even gonna hit him with this, but it's also true that a lot of fraud. I mean, they had to roll it out so quickly, but there was a lot of PPP. Tom Brady even got one, not saying he was doing fraud, but I mean, it was craziness, okay? And the other part of it is, remember who made such a big deal about signing the checks himself? He even held up the checks. So I don't know why he doesn't, get credit for that. No one, no president, and you can even do the math, modern day, before that, just do some kind of mathematical configure. No one has spent more than Donald Trump. He's a runaway spender. He's not a Republican. He's just a guy who likes to spend and divert our money. So that's what he's doing.
That is all he's doing. In any event, things are bad. And look, Amy Kremer, I'll end on this. She expressed an actual opinion, which she discovered is a mistake. Don't do that if you're a grifter online. But the issue for her is that while she can backtrack to still be loved and go to give speeches or whatever, she's right. Prices are too high. Groceries are too high. It's really rough for everybody. And I imagine if you were elderly, it's really rough on you. So she can backtrack and try to pretend that it's Joe Biden. And there will be some MAGA people who will keep telling themselves that. They will literally starve to death thinking that it's Joe Biden's fault or whatever. But a lot of other ones are gonna be like, well, Trump has been in charge for a year or 2 at this point by the time the midterms hit. And I feel like it's gonna take more than a little bit of tweet activity to get people to not assign the blame where it clearly deserves to be.